morning, and we are in chapter 10 today, and we've just gone through a few generations, and we talked about different things. We're going to go through some more generations, and a lot of it was just going through. You got to realize we're doing about 2,000 years of history, quite a lot in these short chapters. So he's not really covering a lot, but what he is doing is he's showing us something. And one of the things that we've had in here is what we call the Book of Mormon cycle, or the pride cycle, or whatever you want to call it. And I kind of feel that this is what happens in these chapters. Is we've got the pride cycle quicker. It's covering generations, but it is also showing how people are blessed when they follow God, and how people fall because they don't follow God. Now, remember last time Heth was somebody that didn't follow God. In fact, he embraced those same things that his grandfather did, or grandmother. Anyway, he is embracing those things. I guess it was probably great grandfather or something, but he's embracing things that shouldn't be embraced. He's embracing the secret combinations and things like that. And now these generations, they have a big famine. They've had the snakes or serpents that are poisonous and everything. And so let's read on. And it came to pass that Shez, shows that he's righteous, who was a descendant of Heth, for Heth had perished by famine. Now Shez is a descendant, so he's probably a grandson or a great-grandson or something like that. Had perished by famine, and all his household, save it were Shez. Wherefore Shez began to build up again a broken people. Interesting that we go from Heth to Shez, but we don't know who's in between. I don't know if it's because, first of all, it doesn't matter really, and second of all, Moroni might not have really remembered that name because it's not important. It wasn't important to remember because it was someone that didn't even reign or have any connection to this. And there's a reason for going through these lines, because remember, this is directly from Jared and his line. Wherefore Shez began to build up again a broken people. Now look what it says here. And it came to pass that Shez did remember the destruction of his fathers, and he did build up a righteous kingdom, for he remembered that the Lord had done what the Lord had done in bringing Jared and his brother across the deep, and he did walk in the ways of the Lord, and he begat sons and daughters. So he remembered the destruction, but he also remembered what wonderful things the Lord had done for the people. And the eldest son, whose name was Shez, did rebel against him. Nevertheless, Shez was smitten by that. This is this scripture here, this paragraph, I should say, is most interesting to me. Okay, let's just read it. Sorry, I interrupt. Shez was smitten by the hand of a robber because of his exceeding riches, which brought peace again to his father. That's... I don't know if Moroni realized he wrote that in there like this, but it just makes me laugh. Oh yeah, my son just died. Oh, finally, I've had peace. And it's just this poor boy. He just like the other son. Oh, I'm gonna rebel against my father. Oh, I'm dead. Oh well, you know, so quick and so just like that's it. You know, at least he got his name in there. And it came to pass that his father did build up many cities upon the face of the land, and the people began again to spread over all the face of the land. And Shez did live an exceeding old age. So he lived for a long time, and he built up cities, and the people had repented, and they're righteous, and he begat Replikish, and he died, and Replikish reigned in his stead. And it came to pass that Replikish did not do that which was right in the sight of God, for he did have many wives and concubines, and did lay upon men's shoulders that which is grievous to be borne. He did, he did tax them with heavy taxes, and with taxes he did build many spacious buildings. I can't help but think of like King Herod, for instance. Herod the Great, I should say. Herod the Great was similar to this, where he just, we still see some of the things today that Herod the Great had done in Jerusalem, and the aqueducts and things like that he built. But as a person, nobody really can account for his own person, but he did build up many things. And I kind of picture that the same here. And he did erect an exceeding beautiful throne, and he did build many prisons. And whoso, now this is quite interesting, whoso would not be subject unto taxes, he did cast into prison. Whoso was not able to pay taxes, he did cast into prison. And he did cause that they should labor continually for their support. And whoso refused to labor, he did cause to be put to death. I don't know. It sounds a little bit like the Sheriff of Nottingham, and as well, almost. Except this seems worse. So there's one thing of a king having an industrious people, another thing to force them into labor, especially because they can't pay taxes or something like that. Wherefore he did obtain all his fine work, yea, even his fine gold he did cause to be refined in prison, and all manner of fine workmanship he did cause to be wrought in prison. And it came to pass that he did afflict the people with his whoredoms and abominations. And when he had reigned for the space of 42 years, the people did rise up in a rebellion against him. And there began to be a war again in the land, insomuch that Replikish was killed, and his descendants were driven out of the land. This also seems to be where they start to have, I'm not sure exactly what kind of government they had, but it seemed like they had a majority type of government where they have the people rather than another king. Right off, they were having some sort of a people that was united. And it came to pass that the space of many years, Morianton, he being a descendant of Replikish, again another descendant, so we're not sure what happened to his children, gathered together an army of outcasts, and went forth and gave battle unto the people. And he gained power over many cities, and the war became exceedingly sore, and did last for the space of many years. And he did gain power over all the land, and did establish himself king over all the land. So here he is taken it by force. Now think about also what would have happened when King Messiah would read these things, and what he's thinking just before he decides to set up the reign of the judges. And after he had established himself king, he did ease the burden of the people, by which he did gain favor in the eyes of the people, and they did anoint him to be their king. And he did do justice unto the people, but not unto himself, because of his many whoredoms. Wherefore he was cut off from the presence of the Lord. And all I could think is, do we know people in power, either politicians or other people, who seem to do really well for the people that they are over, or that they work for, but for themselves they don't, and their home life and things like that is in ruins. This is sort of Morianton. And it came to pass that Morianton built up many cities, and the people became exceedingly rich under his reign, both in buildings and in gold and silver, in raising grain, and in flocks and herds, and such things which had been restored unto them. So he really was, he fought the people really strongly with a strong arm, but when he got into power, he was good to them. And Morianton did live to be an exceeding great age, and he begat Kim. And Kim did reign in his stead, in the stead of his father, and he did reign 8 years, and his father died. And it came to pass that Kim did not reign in righteousness, wherefore he was not favored of the Lord. And his brother did rise up in rebellion against him, by which he did bring him into captivity, and did remain in captivity all his days. And he begat sons and daughters in captivity. And in his old age he begat Levi, and he died. And it came to pass that Levi did serve in captivity after the death of his father for the space of 42 years. And he did make war against the king of the land, by which he did obtain unto himself the kingdom. After he had obtained himself the kingdom, he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. And the people did prosper in the land, and he did live to a good old age, and begat sons and daughters. Now again, here we got a righteous king, after a couple of wicked ones, and he did live to a good old age. I love how he says that, a good old age. And he begat sons and daughters, and he also begat Coram, whom he anointed king in his stead. And it came to pass that Coram did that which was good in the sight of the Lord in all his days, and he begat sons and daughters. And after he had seen many days, he did pass away, even like unto the rest of the earth. And Kish reigned in his stead. Notice just things seem to be going well. They don't say much. He doesn't say much about this, but he's keeping the line going. And remember, this is 2,000 years of history, so he's basically saying if they're righteous, they're really just doing well. And it came to pass that Kish passed away also, and Lib reigned in his stead. And it came to pass that Lib also did that which was good in the sight of the Lord. And in the days of Lib the poisonous serpents were destroyed. Therefore they did go into the land southward to hunt for the people of the land, hunt food for the people of the land. For the land was covered with animals of the forest, and Lib also himself became a great hunter. And they built a great city by the narrow neck of land, by the place where the sea divides the land. Now we're talking about close by where the Nephites are, at this point anyway. But the Nephites aren't there yet because they haven't landed yet. Remember, this is years earlier. We're not sure how earlier, but it is earlier. And they did preserve the land southward for a wilderness, to get game. And the whole face of the land northward was covered with inhabitants. And they were exceedingly industrious, and they did buy and sell and traffic one with another, that they might get gain. And they did work all manner of ore, And they did make gold and silver and iron and brass and all manner of metals, and they did dig it out of the earth. Therefore they did cast up mighty heaps of earth to get ore of gold and silver and iron and of copper, and they did work all manner of fine work. And they did have silks and fine twined linen, and they did work all manner of cloth, that they might clothe themselves from their nakedness. And they did all manner of tools to till the earth, did make all manner of tools to till the earth, both plow and sow. Oh, wait, sorry. My reading's terrible today. Both to plow and to sow, to reap and to hoe. I don't know if they meant for that to rhyme, but that's cool. And also to thrash. And they did make all manner of tools, which they did work their beasts. And they did make all manner of weapons of war, and they did work all manner of work of exceeding curious workmanship. And never could be a people more blessed than were they, and more prospered by the hand of the Lord. And they were in a land that was choice above all lands, for the Lord had spoken it. If we can take anything from that, when they're righteous, and this is generations, this isn't just a couple of years and we've been good. This is a few generations. Let's read that again. Never could a people more, never could be, maybe you read it 3 or 4 times, and never could be a people more blessed than were they, and more prospered by the hand of the Lord. And they were in a land that was choice above all lands, for the Lord had spoken it. That is a fulfillment of the commandment, or of the promise given to the brother of Jared, that from them there would be a nation that was greater than any nation on earth. And they seem to be doing that at this time. And it came to pass that Lib did live many years, and begat sons and daughters, and he begat Hartham. And it came to pass that Hartham reigned in his stead, in the stead of his father. And when Hartham had reigned 24 years, behold, the kingdom was taken away from him, and he served many years in captivity, yea, even all the remainder of his days. And he begat Heth, and Heth lived in captivity. Now, isn't it interesting? They don't mention anything about the other kings. Moroni is not interested in what happened to any of the rulers of the people who had captured him at this time. This wasn't part of the story. There must have been rulers, there must have been kings or judges or whatever, leading the people, and he's not interested in that. He's interested in following this line. And he begat Amnigaddah, and Amnigaddah also dwelt in captivity all his days, and begat Coriantum, and Coriantum dwelt in captivity all his days, and he begat Com. Now remember, these are ones that we don't know whether they're righteous or wicked or what, but they dwelled in captivity. And it came to pass that Com drew away half the kingdom, and he reigned over the half of the kingdom 42 years, and he went to battle against King Amgid. Now this is the first time we've heard that there's a king that over the people that was not of this line. And they fought for the space of many years, during which time Com gained power over Amgid, and obtained power over the remainder of the kingdom. And in the days of Com, there began to be robbers in the land, and they adapted the old plans and administered the oaths after the manner of the ancients, and sought again to destroy the kingdom. So notice Com is in pink. Now Com did fight against them much. Nevertheless, he did not prevail against them. So Com is not embracing these robbers. And I think that is a good way to end this one. We're going to go through a few more generations, and we'll see what happens. But here we got Com. And all these generations that were before him, and now there's robbers in the land, and let's see what happens. And I hope you have a nice day, and you think about all these generations and what happens when people are righteous and what happens when they're wicked. And we'll see you tomorrow.